All right, Crowbar Gym, downtown Leesburg. So I want to talk about frequency. So frequency has been pretty much a lot of questions have come up about it. People have sent me notes, and, pretty much emails, or asked me here at the gym. Frequency has a very important role to play when we're exercising. And you know, if you're new at exercising, you can get away with doing a lot of volume, a lot of frequency, meaning a lot of time in the gym, like every day, right? You can get away with that. Mostly the philosophy that you really want to advocate is you want to have quality over quantity, okay? So, and what that entails means you want to do less work but have it more valuable, okay? A lot of people are spending a lot of time in the gym. Specifically, if you're paying, you know, someone to train you, they're technically banking on the fact that you're going to pay more to do a lot more activity versus quality work. And depending on your goals, rest and striving for the best quality of work is actually what you really want to have, because when you rest, the body actually heals and you produce a better organism. So if you're doing muscle building, for example, there's a little bit of volume that you have to do, and it also depends on your genetics. You could respond really well to volume. You could also respond really well to intensity, meaning how intense the workout is, meaning time under load, and I'm going to show you that in a couple minutes. Kind of like what we do here when we're talking about time under load. And frequency could be 3 times a week, for example. That's great for a lot of building muscle, for weight training, for general fitness. And 3 times a week has always been proven that is very good. You can also do, twice a week if you're trying to lift weights. The idea with weight training is that you don't want to lift and do a lot of volume, okay? So if you are, if you're technically doing, a scheme of 7, for example, you're doing 7 rounds of something, or you're doing 3 rounds of something. The idea is that you don't want to do so much that you're going to hurt your joints, you're going to overdo the stimulus on the body, that you're going to hurt yourself. Also too, if you're trying to build more muscle and trying to promote, better growth, trying to maximize your potential, sometimes doing too much, it becomes more like endurance. There's a place and time where you can actually, or you should, do an everyday kind of workout. That's a certain philosophy and a certain way of using frequency to achieve a goal. Let's say, for example, that person was trying to cut weight, like for wrestling, or they were trying to cut weight, for example, for maybe like a show, like they're trying to get as lean as possible. Then you have to technically play with your calories and then also mess with the frequency of your workout, doing a lot more repetitions in contraction, of course, not just moving weight. That's another distinction too as well. People always ask, what should I do? Well, at the end of the day, there's lots of good training schemes out there, and you should do the compound movements. Compound movements are shown to technically support structure and muscle and promote great hormonal effects onto your system, meaning giving you the ability to burn more body fat, to optimize muscle, and to optimize hormone regulation in your body. So 3 times a week, or twice a week, you can do every day, but that's specialized. If you start every day because you're motivated, mind you that if you're not making progressions in weight, because your body is an effective machine, it wants to technically get better. It doesn't want to waste energy. So therefore, if you're doing everyday workouts and you're stuck at a plateau, take some time off. You can also lengthen the time of your rest time 3 times a day, 3 times a week, for example, right? Or or if you're doing very, very intense work and you're an expert lifter and you cannot break through plateaus, for example, let's say you're doing like powerlifting, for example, or you're doing maybe something like a bodybuilding kind of scheme, trying to put on muscle on certain body parts. One, you got to realize that there's a genetic threshold for yourself, number 1. 2, you got to change it up in intensity and in frequency, right? You don't want to do endurance kind of weightlifting. Now that goes in hand depending on what your goals are. If you do want to get better at endurance, usually the best scheme for that is all body twice a week. And yes, it is about really digging deep and trying to actually push the body in the endurance factor of lifting weight. You're not going to lift as much. But the beauty about it is that even if you're not lifting that much, okay, you're still getting a cardio effect. You can also get a cardio effect if you lift heavy as well and take a lot of time off until the nervous system also adapts. It's very unique, especially when you're doing high intensity training, time under load, right? So let's say we were doing it here at Crowbar Gym. How do we do it? Well, I'm going to show you a squat without moving, okay? Just a belt squat. You've probably seen it before on our channel. And we're not going to go anywhere, but I'm going to show you the intensity of it. The contraction is going to be very deep, and we're going to try to hold for 1 minute. When you do something like this, you can probably do it maybe once or twice in a row, so you can get all the energy out. And then you would have to rest maybe 3, 4, sometimes 7 days before you come back and do it again. The beauty about it is I've seen with different kinds of people, different kinds of clients, the frequency depends on the individual and how much time they have spent in the gym, meaning acquiring a level of strength, acquiring the hypertrophy, acquiring the connectivity with that muscle. The better they are at lifting, meaning connecting with the muscle cell, the longer they actually have to rest, and because the tension here is a lot more extreme. So belt squat again, okay? Down. And if you're not doing belt squats, I suggest you should. That's another thing too. If the tool is also important. I know a lot of people love using a dumbbell, but the reality is just sticking to one tool, especially if you're at the gym, is not the best way of going about it. What you really want to do is you want to get the best piece of equipment. But you can do a lot of stuff with weights, of course, with dumbbells and dead weight, sandbags and stuff like that, especially if you're at home. So we're going to get the proper technique here. It's going to start. Now all the weight's here on my hips. It's going to bring me down. I'm going to start from the ground up. There we go. And I'm going to drive through my hips. And now I'm in contraction. 560. Now while I'm holding, I gotta concentrate on my technique. I'm gonna try to see if I can push a little harder. At the 30 mark, 30 seconds. Now I feel the burn in my legs. Now I'm feeling in my glutes. 25, 50, and then we are done. And then you get that lightheadedness that you get when the energy's all out of your system. There's also a marker here. There's a zone of 20, 40%, I mean, and when you pop out, pretty much it's worthless. That was great. Oh man, that was awesome. I'm gonna do another round of that. Give myself a break. Let's see how long I can do this one. Another static. So that was time under tension, okay? And in time under tension, the reality is I'm contracting almost 100%. And most likely, I'm not really doing 100%. I'm probably maybe doing 80. I could probably do better. And it really depends on the frequency of your workouts, how much rest you've had. As you can tell, my heart rate's pumping. You know, so it's legit. You can do this with a cable machine, you can do this with dumbbells. We have also taken out all the balancing. So there's no balancing, there's no weight on my back. So when you take out the weight, you're just focusing on tension the whole time. And that also has wonderful, wonderful results as well. You can lift a lot harder, and it translates even better for real sports. And also you recover faster. And the tension is a lot more brutal. It's kind of like if you use an Autos machine, you don't want to balance things. You want to get stronger. So if you take away the balancing and the technique, make it dummy proof in a sense, you actually do better. But if your sport is to carry heavy shit around, then practice that. Build in time to practice that, but then also go back and acquire time also to build strength, okay? One is technique, the other one is strength training. Don't mix the two up, okay? I'm gonna do it one more time, just like this. Good. Sit down, see what number I get this time. So last time it was 560. So bring me down, I'm gonna bend. That one I feel in my glutes. Every time I feel it's always different. Here we go. Over, and then drive up. Oh, this is awesome. 6:30, 6:10. I'm gonna hold for time. So I got better, and see? That means I could have done better the first time. I am dropping fast. 500, 37, 40. Come on, hold. Couldn't make it to 1 minute. Oh, nice. I have a fan right here blowing on me, trying to keep me cool, trying to bring the air in. And that's some volume training. And most likely I probably won't do this until maybe 7 days from now. So if you're doing this kind of intensity work, then this is the frequency that you have. But I've been doing squats for a very long time. And now you're like in the cardio zone here.